to Collecting Deadman, where you'll learn all about my Undertaker. Oh, yes!
Welcome back, creatures of the night, to a very special bonus episode of the Collecting Dead Man podcast. We are getting ready for a special watch-along episode. You made your voices heard, you voted in my Twitter polls, and you chose the pay-per-view you wanted me to talk about. You chose WWF Survivor Series 1991. Promoted as the Gravest Challenge, The Undertaker defeated Hulk Hogan for his first WWE Championship victory. Here the dead man lays Hulkamania to rest. And if you want to follow along with me as I watched this very important match in Undertaker's career, you can open up the Peacock app, search WWE pay-per-views, find Survivor Series. It is under Season 5 of the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and choose Survivor Series 1991. And fast forward to 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 49 seconds. You will come across where Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan are going to be taking you back to see how this match all came about. So I will say 3, 2, 1, play, and then you can follow along with me as I watch this match back for the first time in many years. So again, it is the 1 hour, 7 minute, and 49 second mark. And in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, and we start off with a recap of WWF Superstars from 2 weeks ago. Ric Flair's making his appearance into the funeral parlor behind Hulk Hogan as a distraction, as it would seem. Flair is showing Hogan that he's the real world champion, flaunting the big gold belt there. Flair's getting up into Hogan's face here. And you just see how great Paul Bearer is there in the background, with his facial expressions, keeping the center on Ric Flair and Hogan until eventually Undertaker makes his appearance here. And it's just interesting we never got a Hogan and Flair match, especially since they were building towards this in some way, even back then in Survivor Series. It almost seems like this was the route they were going to go for WrestleMania, but they divert and make it Flair Savage, Hogan Sid. And of course, Ric Flair shows off the big gold belt here to Hogan, and it's blurred because it's almost like he took it from WCW, and it's not supposed to be there. It's just cool to see, as in an atmosphere, as the funeral parlor, it's something that's, I miss nowadays. You miss these talk shows that would have like these backdrops and would cause feuds to come together and other wrestlers to strengthen the promos and also have the feuds being strengthened each and every week. It's something that's missing nowadays. But here's the Undertaker making his appearance from out of the coffin behind Hogan. He hits Hogan in the back of the head with the urn, and Flair and Undertaker now proceed to beat up and choke Hulkamania. And this is just a great build-up for the pay-per-view, just 2 weeks away. Undertaker choking out Hulk Hogan until Roddy Piper and Randy Savage are trying to make the save here. Flair gets a couple chair shots. Undertaker stays stoic, not flinching after chair shots to himself. And this is just an everlasting image I remember of Undertaker reaching down and ripping off the cross necklace of Hogan before looking at it and dropping it onto Hogan. It's almost like he's being burned by its power. This is great stuff back then. I don't usually watch a lot of early Undertaker stuff, mainly because I don't really care for his opponents. Probably my favorite early opponent of his is Jake Roberts at WrestleMania. But this feud with Hogan is really something that they never really did with Hulk Hogan at the time. Hulk Hogan looked weak, and not only did Hulk Hogan not end up winning the feud, he ends up losing the title, something that was unheard of at the time. But Undertaker's now making his way to the ring. He is entering first as the challenger, accompanied by Paul Bearer. You have shots of little kids in the arena crying, screaming at him, and at the front row there. The Undertaker is the heel, but also Undertaker has support in the crowd. There is cheers, and it's not something you usually heard back then, the cheers for Hulk Hogan's opponent. Undertaker walks past the Hulkmania casket that was at the funeral parlor. And of course, this is before the lights were dimmed for his entrance. So there is no raising of the lights here in this match. I really need to appreciate the early Undertaker more. I usually like watching when he's in his purple attire and on. Because like I said a little bit earlier, I'm not really a fan of the early opponents like Gonzalez, Kamala, Snuka, and all these other people. But really gives a new appreciation for the early character development. This original Deadman character. And now Hulk Hogan makes his appearance. He is entering out to a sea of chairs. Large Hasbro figure in the crowd. And although Hulk Hogan does have the louder crowd reaction, you can tell that Undertaker has support in the arena. Some guy dressed as Hogan. He's not going to be too happy at the end of this match. As Hulk Hogan is destroying the casket at ringside, Undertaker looks on, not flinching, no emotion, no movement. Earl Hebner is a referee. He's restraining Hogan. You could tell a lot of people in the crowd just either not reacting to Hogan. A lot of Undertaker signs. So this is an opponent Hogan is different for the time period. The tides are changing here. Throws his bandana, completely misses the Undertaker here. The Undertaker doesn't flinch, doesn't move. This character development is something that needs to be more appreciated. Undertaker really is a character that was different for its time, and also was able to live on for 3 decades here. As the match gets started, Hogan is walking around the Undertaker, not knowing what to do. They tie up, and Undertaker throws Hogan to the turnbuckle. Hogan has been overpowered. And as Bobby Heenan just said, he doesn't think you can hurt the Undertaker. Undertaker has given off this aura of not being able to be hurt or not to be able to take punishment. So this is a brand new type of opponent here for Hulk Hogan. Hogan's got him in a headlock, a tie-up. Undertaker breaks free, tossing Hogan to the ropes. and a shoulder lock, shoulder bump to Hogan brings Hogan down and out of the ring. Hogan doesn't know what to do with this Undertaker. You have people in the back there giving the thumbs down to Hogan, not really seen at this time period. Like I've been saying, Undertaker really broke through to some of the fans here. Really interesting to see. Just sometimes just look in the crowd, see the crowd reactions. Undertaker now continues his assault on Hulk Hogan, choking him into the corner of the ring. And he now is rolling his eyes into the back of his head. One of the first appearances of the eye roll. It's so menacing here at this time. Heenan's also been reiterating what I've been saying. He can see that Hulkamania is not what it once was. He knows Undertaker is different. Paul Bearer at ringside with the urn, the source of the power. Undertaker classic heel tactics, using the ropes. Paul Bearer distracting the referee. And now Paul Bearer attacking Hogan. And as Gorilla Monsoon just called Paul Bearer a piece of garbage. It reminds me so much in the Attitude Era when Paul Bearer would attack people for the Undertaker at ringside, and JR would call him names like that and say stuff. So some things never change in commentary world. Hogan gets up. Undertaker misses the elbow drop. Hogan tosses the Undertaker, hits him with a clothesline. No, doesn't flinch. Undertaker reverses a body slam. Just love the commentary back and forth from Monsoon and Heenan. Of Heenan trying to tell Monsoon that Hulkamania is going to go down. He's dead. And Monsoon trying to revive Hulkamania for the face crowd. It's almost like classic JR Jerry Lawler vibes here. And then Undertaker's reeling towards the ropes, and he has been pushed outside by Hulk Hogan. Lands on his feet in classic Undertaker fashion here. But Undertaker pulls Hulk Hogan out of the ring, and now continues to assault Hogan on the outside. You can see as Undertaker chooses to choke out Hogan, Paul Bearer is distracting the referee so that Undertaker does not get disqualified. You can see Hulk Hogan has taken a considerable amount of damage, especially for this time. Hogan is being shown as more weak at this time. Undertaker has gotten a lot of offense so far in this match. And Paul Bearer again continues to attack Hulk Hogan for the second time. You just see how slow and menacing the Undertaker character here is at this time. He doesn't have to be fast. He doesn't have to be putting on a lot of flashing moves. He gets his character over just by his slow, menacing walk, his moves, his body language. It all says a lot about the character here. Undertaker now has got Hogan in some sort of vice grip on the face, trying to choke him out. The crowd is chanting for Hogan. The weird guy dressed as Hogan in the front trying to get the crowd amped up. But it seems like the people around him are more in the Undertaker's camp, as people have not really been paying attention to him. A nice shot of the Undertaker's first tattoo there. The Grim Reaper. The tattoo that was just mentioned recently on Godfather's interview with Stone Cold. That he was the one responsible for Undertaker getting that tattoo. And which caused some backstage heat from Vince McMahon. Because Vince was the one that he said that should have been told Undertaker was getting a tattoo. I don't think it hurt Undertaker's career one bit. It's slow right now in the match. Undertaker has got Hogan in this grip for a couple minutes now already. I didn't realize how much offense the Undertaker has gotten in this match. Hogan has woken up now. He's hulking up. He's grabbed the Undertaker's hand from around his face, rake of the eyes to the Undertaker, and another shoulder block to the Undertaker. Another shoulder block. Undertaker's to the ropes and a flying clothesline to Hogan. Undertaker looks to the urn for power. There is a dent in the urn, I just noticed. It probably came from the funeral parlor segment where they hit Hogan in the back. You can tell it's the same urn they probably used for a year now already. He's got him up in the tombstone. The first tombstone to Hulk Hogan. And he's down. But he gets right back up. Shades of the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 12 to Triple H's pedigree. Hogan continues to Hulk up. No selling the tombstone. Continues to bash the Undertaker. Undertaker is still standing. The people are behind Hogan. Undertaker has dropped down to a knee. Hogan thinks it's done. He thinks he's got him. He's calling for the body slam. But here comes Ric Flair. In the iconic black and white robe. Flair's at ringside. Hogan's been distracted again by Paul Bearer. Undertaker is getting up. Hogan has seen Flair and bashes him at ringside. Undertaker's tossed to the ropes and is given a big boot. Paul Bearer again is intercepting Hulk Hogan. Undertaker's up. He's got Hogan for the tombstone. Flair's got a chair, and here comes the end. The iconic tombstone on the chair, where Hogan's head doesn't even hit the chair. The safest tombstone I perhaps have ever seen. 2, 3, it is over. New champion. And the crowd firmly behind the Undertaker here. Undertaker has won his first of eventual 7 championships in WWE. With the help from Ric Flair and Paul Bearer. And the safest tombstone Undertaker has perhaps ever done. The crowd is cheering. And as Bobby Heenan says, Hulkamania is dead and long live The Undertaker. It is a changing of the guard here, changing of the times. Even though Hulk Hogan would win it back for briefly at this Tuesday in Texas before he is stripped of the title, Hulkamania, I think, never fully recovers from this loss to The Undertaker. It creates a new star in The Undertaker. He goes on to become a fan favorite. And Hulk Hogan now is being attended to in the ring. He continues to go on to say his neck was damaged there, and then, it continues to turn off wrestlers in the back because they saw how safe the move was. Just Hulk Hogan politicking in the back, as he always does, as he's known for. So yeah. Hulkster fan in the front there's crying. It's a good day to be an Undertaker fan. It's a good day for the creatures of the night. And yeah, that is it for The Undertaker's first championship win. I hope you have enjoyed this watch along as I gave some of my commentary on the match, gave you some of what moves were happening, and a little backstage stuff about what happens between Hogan and The Undertaker. This would turn Undertaker against Hogan, I think, in real life, as Hogan tries to say that he was injured in this match and everything, and it took Shane and Vince to see the tape again and show that Hogan was fully protected, and that if the wrestlers continue to know that Hogan is just politicking for his way back into the limelight. Hogan, I don't think, ever fully recovers from that in back. And Vince finds his new star for the next 30 years in The Undertaker. Shots of kids crying. But also, not too much pity for the Hulkster from the fans. No real boos, overwhelming boos for when The Undertaker won. A new star has arisen here. I just wish the championship reign on him would have lasted a bit longer. Maybe until the Rumble. Maybe even defending it at WrestleMania. But, things played out the way they did. And that's all she wrote. Thank you for joining me here for this bonus episode. If you would like to see more, I would love to do more watch-alongs. Maybe I'll put up another poll in the next couple weeks, see which match you guys would like to see. But until then, please continue to subscribe to my podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram at Collecting Deadman or on Twitter at CollectUpDead. There will be a new episode dropping this Tuesday, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Spread the word to all your friends and all the creatures of the night to subscribe to my podcast so it continues to spread around the world, much like The Undertaker's legacy. So until next time, creatures of the night, I'm Steven, and I thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's keep on rolling, baby.
I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Collecting Deadman. Please continue to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review where you can. Follow me on Twitter at CollectUpDead and on Instagram at CollectingDeadman. Check out my new Linktree page where I put all the links to everywhere you can find me. From Instagram and Twitter to all my merchandise stores and wherever you can find my podcast. Check out my websites and continue to support this podcast in any way you can. Until next week, creatures of the night.